everything I picked up this week. Starting with toys, this was a big week for Marvel Legends X-Men. First off, from the X-Men 97 Wave 2 or 3. I think this is Wave 3, but I'm not certain on that at all. But regardless, I got Emma Frost, the White Queen here. And just looking at it, this looks like a pretty significant upgrade over the Hellfire Club 4-pack Hasbro Pulse exclusive White Queen that came out years ago. The head sculpts are much better. Double jointed elbows, which is a big deal because now she can do the telepath hands to the head thing. The original one couldn't do that because one, she had single jointed elbows, and then also the cape hindered that. The cape looks like it might still hinder hand to the head movement here, but we shall see. And they made it pinless as well, so just an all-around upgrade for Emma Frost, White Queen. Also much easier to get. Then I also got the Marvel Legends again from X-Men 97. It's Jubilee, but it's her costume from the final few episodes, which was also her costume in 616 for a little bit, especially when she was a vampire, I believe. And they finally gave her proper power effects, as you can see there. There's also double jointed elbows on a jacket, which is rare in Legends. Hopefully that's the norm going forward. Then, final X-Men toy of the week, I got the Marvel Legends X-Factor Jean Grey. This is the green and yellow instead of the red and yellow. Two head options here. This cool little psychic power effect. She is supposed to have yellow boots, which everyone is talking about, and that is a shame that that is not the case here. Now this one will go with the blue and yellow Cyclops that they released recently-ish. But hopefully they go back and make the red and yellow Jean to go with the white and blue Cyclops they made years ago. Then I got the G.I. Joe Classified Series Shooter Craig, Jodie Shooter Craig. Got this on Marketplace because I saw she was gonna appear in the next issue of the comic as part of Night Force, and Night Force has been exceptionally cool in the G.I. Joe comic. This is from a few years back when the boxes didn't have an open window to see the figure, and this was a exclusive of some kind, I believe. Let me know. Then finally for toys, also from Marketplace, I got the DC Multiverse Rookie and Mr. Bloom 2-pack. So this is from that Batman story by Scott Snyder. I think it's called Heavy Metal, I don't quite remember, but Batman became an amnesiac after battling the Joker in a giant pit beside a pit of Dynesium that restored all his body and mind or something. He became an amnesiac, and then Jim Gordon took over as Batman, and this was his little mech that he had when he was Batman. I have the original Mattel Collect and Connect figure of Rookie, but this one is much bigger and therefore better. This one is, however, missing, he had a gun that could shoot batarangs. That was pretty fun. I also quite like Mr. Bloom, despite him not having appeared in many things. I think he's a very cool looking Batman villain, really leans into the horror aspect, and they should use him more. He has a cool look. Every time they use Scarecrow, they should be using Mr. Bloom instead, because Scarecrow's a punk. Mr. Bloom actually has superpowers. Then I also got these Lego Blind Box minifigures Series 12. So in the first blind box, I have the Hamster Lover here, which if you recall from a few hauls ago, I went back looking for this guy and he was sold out. They had clearanced out all of Series 27, and I was like, damn. So I like to get the ones in silly animal costumes. Box number 2. Then we got the Rocket Racer here. I just thought he looked cool. Then for my monthly comics, it was a lot of DC this week. So I have Adventures of Superman, Book of L, issue 2. Pick of the week with Cheetah and Cheshire, Rob the Justice League, issue 3. This has been a great series. Batgirl issue 12, Batman issue 2. Looks like we're gonna have some awesome Tim Drake action in this. Prelude to DCKO Justice League, the Omega Act Special. Absolute Evil number 1. And the only Marvel, only non-DC this week even, is Ultimate X-Men issue 20. As they inch ever so closer to Ultimate Endgame. With Ultimate Endgame coming up, they're also trying to wrap up all the stories and the ongoings right now. Then for trades, I picked up The Flash by William Mester Loeb and Mike Baron. Is that correct? That is correct. Omnibus Volume 1. So with this out, they just need one more Omnibus, and then all of Flash will have been, all of post-crisis Flash will have been collected in an Omnibus of some kind. So hopefully the Volume 2 of this comes out at all, sometime in the near future, preferably. And then I'll finally get the Mark Waid Flashes. Now to recap last week's comics, so we got the Mortal Thor issue 2 here. This continues to be such a shot in the arm for the Immortal Thor Al Ewing run. Thor is Sigurd Jarlson now, normal man. And first issue, he roughed up a bunch of Roxxon goons. And this time they were talking about coming after him, but before they could even finish that conversation, he chased them down to their hideout, and he had a normal hammer tied to a bungee cord, and he was throwing it at them, and it was awesome. He was brutalizing them. It was crazy. Then their boss leader took out a pew and he shot it, and then Thor threw the hammer and it ricocheted off the hammer and hit the boss guy in the head. Wild. New History of the DC Universe issue 3. So this cleans up a lot of DC continuity from the more modern age, but two things that stuck out to me is they say John Kent was born during the 1 year later. So during 52, that's when John Kent was born. So that means it's been 10 years since 52, and that doesn't, minimum 10 years, probably more like 11 years, 12 even. Before John was aged up, I think he was 11. So that makes it 11 years since 52, since Infinite Crisis, and let's just say Tim Drake, because we know Tim Drake was probably 16, 15 minimum in Infinite Crisis. So do they mean to tell me that Tim Drake is 26, 27 right now? They had to put John Kent's birth way further back in their timeline for it to make any ounce of sense, any modicum of sense. And then they also included, so Damien's conception really should have been in issue 2, but then they had it in this one, and then they mentioned that they had his aging accelerated, and I don't like that part, because that was added in the New 52 to explain why Batman, who's only active for 5 years, had a 10-year-old son. But now they kept that accelerated aging part of his origin, which, again, if they put his conception in issue 2 of this, they wouldn't have needed the accelerated aging thing. So already there's issues in this. A shame. Also because Son of the Demon is a Bronze Age story. I guess I don't know. Son of the Demon came out in the era that the previous issue covered, so doesn't work. Does not work for me. Justice League Unlimited issue 11 had a good Mr. Terrific showcase as he fought a bunch of parademons that invaded the Watchtower. Now, my hot take. I notice a lot of you fellow comic readers, you mainly collect only DC. Here's my hot take. Comparing current Avengers to current Justice League Unlimited, Avengers is better. Wonder Woman issue 25 continues the Mouseman story. She found some freedom fighters in this one, so that was neat. Then this is also the, I think, first appearance of Matriarch, which is going to be a major bad guy for Trinity or something going forward. I'm not sure. All the other Lanterns got their power batteries back. Are they going to have their own series again? Are we going to get a Red Lantern series again? That would be wild. So this was mostly set up for the next issue, which will have the Hulk using Pym particles to giant size himself to fight Godzilla, which that sounds awesome. This issue is just fine, of Godzilla versus destroys the Marvel Universe issue 3. This was a really good issue of X-Men with issue 22, and it made me bummed that Age of Revelation is immediately following it, because I'm not too excited for Age of Revelation. I think that was a bad idea on Tom Brevoort's part. I understand that he's new to the X office and wants to get his own Age of Apocalypse going on, because that's every editor's dream in the X office. But they just did The Sins of Sinister, which was the same thing, and that was even too close to Age of X-Men, which was also the same thing. So there's too many of these future line-wide mini things going on, too close back to back to back. Ultimate Hawkeye, you may notice, is written by Taboo of the Black Eyed Peas, not to be confused with Fergie Will.i.am or Apple Diap. Taboo is the other member. This was a pretty good issue. Void Rivals is kind of losing me, I'll be real. Not much else to say. I don't want to spoil this issue of Ultimate Spider-Man with 21 here, but this was pretty sweet. A lot of things happened, a lot of plot progress, a lot of what's gonna happen next. I don't know, it was good stuff. I'm just gonna be vague about it. Superman issue 30, finally, Booster Gold has been saved. Also, I was glad to see that Superboy Prime didn't turn on Superman, because last time he appeared during Death Metal, he was heroic. He did save the universe. And this time he got to team up with the Legion of Superheroes to save Superman. Look at him go. So there's everything I picked up this week. Let me know what you're reading and what you want to see reviewed first.